go. Hi, welcome to this webinar, Support for Stressful Times. I'm Weiser Cornell, and I'm going through stressful times. How about you? Yes, so this is a community in which we can be together for a while, and then this video goes out on YouTube so that other people can join in as well, in which we can give each other support for what we're going through. Each of you, I'm sure, like me, is going through something unique, something that's your own life, where you live, your family, your work, your circumstances, and we're all in a larger context, which this month includes even more war than usual. So, yeah. Yes, Maria, I see you. Let's take a moment. Take a moment. My favorite tip for stressful times is to take a moment and pause and arrive in your body. So we'll do that together. I welcome you to do that with me. Take a deeper breath. I consciously become aware that I'm sitting on this chair and how that feels to my body right now. I can feel my shoulders relaxing a little just as I pause and let my breath be here. And then I can begin to be aware in my body. And how is my body today? I'm checking especially that my throat, my chest, my stomach, because this sort of middle front of the area of the body is often a sensitive field for registering, picking up how we feel. So your body's always talking to you if you listen. And it's always talking to you about yourself, your favorite topic. How am I right now? How am I right now? How am I? So take a moment with me just to sense how you are. And sometimes if I can feel that there's an area of my body that needs a little extra caring, I let a gentle hand go there. Or I let a gentle hand go to my heart. You know, I am a big fan, big supporter of self-caring. You have lots of love to give, and might as well give some of it to yourself. It doesn't take away from other people when you give some love to yourself. So join me right now, if you will, and just say a gentle hello to yourself, a gentle hello to your body, to your feelings, and let your feelings know. I recommend that you let your feelings know that they are welcome. It's okay to feel that way. Now, my body's actually feeling kind of calm right now. There's a little bit of stressy feeling down here, that sort of stomach area. So now I'm going to take the word stressy and see if that describes it well. You might want to do that too. What are you feeling? How would you describe it? Well, what's funny is as soon as I spend time with it, it starts calming down even more. And this mostly okay feeling is also something to pay attention to. I don't want to skip my enjoyable feelings. So maybe you're feeling something enjoyable, something calm, something peaceful in your body right now, even a little bit. How nice to pause and let that be here too. How are you feeling? Do you want to let us know in the chat? Our topic for today is choices, decisions, and doubts. And life does give us choices and decisions. We've lived together through a great pandemic which many people say is still continuing. Now, though, and maybe during the pandemic, there weren't as many choices. That was actually something part of me enjoyed. Am I going to go out today? No. I don't have a choice about that. But now, will I fly to another city to visit a friend? There's a choice there. So we're going to talk a bit about choices and how to make them calmly and wisely and self-lovingly, and using the wisdom of your body. I'm just noticing how people answered my question, how are you right now? So it goes from depressed to not knowing, to having a good day but still lost, and relatively good and keeping active. And by the way, I know that chat comes from someone in Israel, so I'm so glad to hear that's how you're feeling. How are we, and how are we with our decisions and choices? And one of the things that can happen is that we may have made decisions and choices in the past that we regret. I've got my regrets. They're more peaceful now than they used to be, but I used to have a whole bucket of regrets that I would go in and feel bad about. Well, it's one reason decisions are important, because wanting to make a decision that you won't regret. This last summer, my partner and I, for the first time in years, took a trip together. We flew to another city. We went to a small conference. Maybe it will be okay. I don't regret it, but I think he does, because we got COVID on the trip. Yeah. So let's talk about decisions. Now, Heather is writing, I feel something like fragmented, like the outer is chaotic, but the inner, although exhausted, is strong. And you're saying hello to all that, and that helps. And that's another thing. When you notice how you're feeling, do say hello to that. Well, so what are the choices and decisions you're facing right now? I already decided I'm going to fly to another city and see my daughter and granddaughter, even though my partner's not going to go with me. Well, maybe there are other decisions that are, if you live in a part of the world and have a culture where there are holidays coming up soon, maybe there's decisions about that, about who you'll see, what you'll do, who to spend time with, where to go. Well, how would our bodies help us with decisions like that? Because ideally, this is my ideal. Ideally, I would make decisions from an inner sense of rightness, an inner sense of rightness. People sometimes say, my head and my heart are at odds with each other. This decision is hard because my head says one thing and my heart says another thing. But is it really head versus heart? I'm not so sure that's right. I think the ideal would be not just the head, not just the heart, but something else. Now, when we usually call the head is what we mean by that is a kind of rational, logical, linear sort of decision making. Or maybe we could write down the pros and cons and see how they all add up. And when we say the heart, we often mean bringing in emotions, bringing the emotional side into it. However, there's a third way to make decisions that isn't either logical or linear or emotional. And that's what I call the inner sense of rightness. So the inner sense of rightness comes from a kind of, I'm sure this language doesn't really make much sense. It comes from a kind of knowing. You might remember a time when you walked into a situation and you could tell that something wasn't right. There was something uneasy. There was tension in the room. Nobody had to tell you. You had an inner knowing about that. And that inner knowing that often at first can't be explained comes from the ability that your body mind has to kind of sum up a whole situation. And if we want to tap into our inner sense of knowing, we need this kind of pause that I've been guiding you into from the very start of this meeting. The pause, the sensing, the taking time, leaving a space for that knowing to arise. I'm just going to take a peek in the chat because some people have been sharing. Catherine writes, I'm feeling more flooded by emotions lately, some related to aging, and a part feeling betrayed by the body. Yes. And these are new challenges, and some related to spiritual experiences. So I'm spending a lot of time with each. What a good idea. And notice how when Catherine talks about a part feeling betrayed by the body, that kind of language, a part feeling betrayed by the body, something in me feeling betrayed by my body. I think you're talking about aging and the losses of powers that we face when we age. As soon as we say, something in me feels betrayed by my body, instead of I feel betrayed by my body, something in me or a part of me feels betrayed by my body allows a relationship. It allows you to turn toward whatever that is and get interested and curious. We're going to come back to that. Sudha writes, I regret leaving my family. So that was a choice you made. And now it's hard. I hear you. Della writes, I'm grateful for the time to walk and enjoy the change in the season, anticipating the birth of a new grandchild in January. Blessings and congratulations for that. It's important to be able to enjoy what's enjoyable. Maria writes, there's something in me that's torn. One wants one thing, one wants another. Yeah, I think you've got two somethings there, Maria. Something wants one thing, something wants another. And Lily writes, will we visit my husband's sister who is very sick? And if we do, what's the best time for the journey? There you go. Important decision, not clear. There's the head, there's the heart. So let's say a little more about this inner sense of rightness. For instance, with Maria, who writes, one wants one thing, one wants another. So I become the listener to both sides. I think one of the best ways to make a decision is to not make a decision for a while. Like create a kind of truce where right now we're not going to make that decision. Right now, I'm going to be the listener to one side and the other side. Now, I'm going to invite the part that wants this to let me know more about that. So maybe we can take Lily's example because it's specific. Something in me wants to visit my husband's sister. Something in me doesn't want to. Probably that's there because that's the question. Shall I visit my husband's sister or shall I not? Or that language might need to be changed. Something in me wants to, of course, that's the heart, but something in me is worried about the consequence. So we have two sides, and we can sense into each of them. Be a listener. We can also sense how each one feels. We can imagine going in this direction. Let's say we choose that. Trying on the feel of that. Imagine going in this direction. Trying on the feel of that. Sometimes I've had decisions where at first I felt unclear. I don't know. Shall I do this or shall I do that? But when I tried on both sides, it became clear to me, I just can't do that one. That isn't me. That's kind of unthinkable. Okay, so we're left with this one. And then we might be left with, well, but how will we do the one that one that remains? So the inner sense of rightness can give you your own sense of what's possible for you. Can I do that? Catherine writes, being in this community, thank you, my dear, this is a community. My deep grief over my husband's death is rising up so powerfully. And there's the choice to allow myself to be with the deep sobs. My heart is with you, Catherine, and your feelings belong here, and so do you. And Sudha writes, I'm feeling lost and lonely, and your feelings belong here too, Sudha. Lily is saying more about her decision to see her husband's sister. Something in me feels so sad about her, and something else feels angry that she let her illness progress so far without getting help. So how good that you're making room and including those two sides, that those powerful feelings, sorrow for her and anger at her neglect of herself. I want to say something about feelings, emotions. I said that we don't want to let our decision be made by emotions. And yet emotions belong in the picture. Emotions come for a good reason. They aren't dangerous. No one was ever hurt by an emotion. If we allow our emotions to be here, they will take next steps. There will be something next. And the emotion itself has a life force in it. When we acknowledge this is how I'm feeling, or this is how something in me is feeling, that allows a next step to happen. So in terms of choices and decisions, if there are emotions, and Lily is getting in touch with emotions about this decision, about visiting her husband's sister, there are emotions involved. Acknowledging them is going to be a step in being able to make this decision with clarity for everyone involved. So, yes. Have I guided? Oh, someone is asking, have I guided the decision-making practice? Well, let's try 5 minutes of it right now, okay? I do have a course coming up on decisions. You can find it on my website, but I don't like to use this meeting to talk about my upcoming courses. Let's try it right now. So let's take a little time to come into your body. Feel your body supported and let awareness come inward. And remember and become aware of a decision that's present for you now. There's something that you don't know yet. Shall I do this? Shall I do that? It can be a big one, or it could be just a little one, like what you'll do this weekend, just to try out the process. Okay. So in your body, find this language. Shall I? And then articulate one of the choices. Shall I do it that way? And then articulate the other choice. Shall I? Or shall I do that instead? Not every decision has two choices, so we can include a third possibility, which is none of the above. And now say it this way. Something in me wants to go in that direction, the first choice. And something in me wants to go in that direction, the second choice. And pause and let the body feel arise about the whole decision and about this and this. It takes a little while for a body feeling to come. That's why we're leaving a pause. But whatever it is, just notice. Now, every decision has a lot of unknowns. And it can be daunting how much I don't know. But try this little phrase that I learned from my friend Helene Brenner. This much I do know. So in your body, try saying the words, yes, there's a lot I don't know about this decision. And this much I do know. And you could try that about the different sides of the decision. So the first choice, the choice to do the first possibility, the first option. I don't know. But this much I do know about that. It would be great to see her. It would be great to support her, or whatever it is for you. And then about the second branch, you could ask again, there's a lot I don't know about this other choice. I don't know so much about that. This much I do know. I'm angry. Or this much I do know. I don't want to lose something. And pause again, because what I call the inner sense of rightness is what you do know. And so check again with your body. Is it true? This much I do know. I don't know a lot of other things about this decision, but this much I do know. So if we had a longer time, we could spend more time with each of the different sides with what, okay, so you can take this time for yourself. You can take the first choice, something in you wants that. You could ask what it wants for me from going in that first direction, what it wants me to be able to experience, what it wants for other people as well, if I take that choice. And right now, you're not making the decision, you're just listening to what's wanted. And then the same with the other side. We're not deciding right now. We just really want to give each side a chance to tell its story. So there's something that it wants for me, safety perhaps, by going in that direction. So, choices, decisions, and doubts. And when you make decisions like this, I think you're less likely to be feeling doubts later. And before we stop, let's pause again and just acknowledge how your body's feeling right now. Has there been a change since when we first sat down? And most of all, what I want to leave you with is the possibility of being kind and gentle to yourself. It's tragic how often people are angry with themselves, critical of themselves, especially if there's painful feelings, sadness, depression, longing. Something in us says, it's your fault. You made wrong choices, and that's why you're here. Well, we can be gentle to even that part, which is desperately trying to make us feel better in a way that's very unlikely to work. Your emotions don't make you bad. Neither do your choices. You can be kind and forgiving towards yourself. You're doing the best you can. Wonderful. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Catherine. Feeling gratitude for this is a community, and we meet every month. Same time, Wednesday morning in California, evening in Europe and other places. And every month we have a theme or a topic, but mostly we do this. We just sit here and be present. Allow what's here to be here. My biggest theme is always to be kind to yourself, to be gentle. What if all day today you only said kind and nice things to yourself? Wouldn't that be great? That's what I'm wishing for you. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Take care. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you have a lovely one next week. Very good. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Bye for now.